The gods of Olympus were the main gods of the Greek Pantheon. They were the children of the Titans Cronus and Rhea. They made Mount Olympus their home after rising to power, having defeated the Titans in the Tychomachie, or War of the Titans. Zeus, King of the Gods. Zeus became King of the Gods after leading the war against Cronus, and he ruled over all the other gods who lived on their heavenly mountain. He ruled over the earth and the heavens, and was the ultimate arbiter of law and justice. He controlled the weather by exercising his ability to hurl thunder and lightning. Metis, one of the Titans, was Zeus's first bride. He later married his own sister, Hera, although he had a wandering eye and a tendency for flings with all and any women. His romantic affairs gave birth to a slew of other gods, demigods, and mortal heroes. Hera, Queen of the Gods. Hera ruled as Queen of the Gods. She was one of the few Olympians who remained faithful to her spouse as a goddess of marriage and fidelity. She was, however, spiteful and tortured many of Zeus's adulterous relationships. One of these, Io, was transformed into a cow, and Hera sent a gadfly to constantly torment her. She transformed Callisto into a bear and assigned Artemis to hunt her down. She duped another woman, Semele, into requesting Zeus to unveil his full glory before her, killing her in the process, as mortals cannot look upon the gods without incinerating. Zeus's affair with Alcmene resulted in his son Hercules, whom Hera despised. Poseidon, God of the Sea. When Zeus took the throne, he divided the universe between himself and his two brothers. Poseidon was given sovereignty over the world's oceans and waters. He also had the ability to create storms, floods, and earthquakes. He was also the god of horses and the protector of sailors. As they drove his chariot through the surf, his majestic team of horses mixed with the sea foam. Poseidon dwelt in a magnificent palace beneath the sea with his wife Aphrodite. However, he was also prone to having affairs. Aphrodite was no more merciful than Hera, turning one of Poseidon's former lovers, Scylla, into a monster with 6 heads and 12 feet, using magic herbs. Athena, Goddess of War and Wisdom. Athena was the daughter of Zeus and his first wife, Metis. Zeus swallowed Metis as he feared that a son would usurp him as he had his father. Metis survived and created armour for her upcoming child from within Zeus. This pounding eventually gave Zeus a splitting headache. To relieve him, Hephaestus split Zeus's head open with an axe. Athena sprang from the wound, fully grown and armoured. Athena's strength rivaled that of the other gods. She refused to accept any lovers, determined to stay a virgin. She was established as the goddess of justice, strategic warfare, wisdom, rational thought, and arts and crafts. The owl was one of her most important symbols, and she planted the first olive tree as a gift to her favourite namesake city, Athens. Ares, God of War. Ares, the god of war, was diametrically opposed to his sister Athena. Whereas Athena oversaw strategy and tactics and offensive combat, Ares relished in wars, violence and bloodshed. With the exception of Aphrodite, his aggressive nature and quick temper made him unpopular with the other Olympians, and he was similarly despised by mortals. His devotion was significantly less than that of the other gods and goddesses, but he was greatly revered by the warlike Spartans of southern Greece. Despite his history with combat, he was usually depicted as a coward, fleeing to Olympus in a rage at the slightest wound. Whereas Nike, representing triumph, was Athena's constant companion, Ares' chosen companions were Enyo, the god of strife, Phobos, the god of fear, and Deimos, the god of terror. Artemis, goddess of the moon and the hunt. Zeus and his affair with the titaness Leto produced Artemis and her twin brother Apollo. Hera threatened every land in the world if they granted Leto sanctuary, and she prolonged Leto's labour for an entire 9 months. Despite this, the twins were born, and they went on to become important Olympians. Artemis was the goddess of the moon, woods, archery and hunting. She was quiet, dark and solemn. Artemis, like Athena, had no desire to marry. She was the patron goddess of female fertility, chastity and childbirth, and she was also strongly associated with wild animals. She held the bear in high regard. Apollo, god of the sun, light and music. Apollo, Artemis's twin brother, was the god of the sun, light, prophecy, music, medicine and knowledge. His oracle at Delphi was the most famous in the ancient world. When Apollo won a lyre from his mischievous younger brother Hermes, the instrument became forever associated with him. Apollo was regarded as the most handsome of the gods. He was cheerful and positive, and enjoyed singing, dancing and drinking. He was well liked by both gods and mortals. He also followed in his father's footsteps by pursuing mortal women, but not always with success. Instead of succumbing to his advances, the river nymph Daphne had her father transform her into a laurel tree. Hephaestus, god of smiths and metalwork. The accounts of the birth of Hephaestus differ. Some claim he is Zeus and Hera's son, while others say he was born solely by Hera in order to retaliate against Zeus for the birth of Athena. Hephaestus was extremely unattractive, at least by the standards of the gods. Hera, disgusted by his looks, threw him from Olympus, leaving him eternally crippled. He studied the blacksmith's profession, built himself a workshop, and became, to a lesser extent than his sister Athena, the god of fire, metallurgy, sculpting, and crafts. His forges generate volcanic fire. Hephaestus married Aphrodite, the goddess of love, who was unparalleled in beauty. Zeus may have orchestrated the marriage to prevent the Olympian gods from fighting for her. According to popular legend, Hephaestus imprisoned his mother in a specially made throne in retaliation for her abuse of him, and only decided to free her after he was promised Aphrodite's hand. Aphrodite, goddess of love, beauty and sex. Aphrodite resented her marriage to Hephaestus, despite the fact that he produced elaborate jewellery for her in an attempt to court her love. She preferred Ares, who was wild and rough. When Hephaestus learnt of Aphrodite and Ares' romance, he utilised his skill to create a trap. He encircled his bed with an unseen web of shackles, trapping Aphrodite and Ares nude in midst of one of their romantic encounters. He gathered the other gods and goddesses who joined him in teasing the caught lover severely. When they were ultimately set free, they both left Olympus in disgrace. Aphrodite had a number of mortal human flings, and is arguably most remembered for offering the beautiful, already married Queen Helen to the young Paris, therefore igniting the famous Trojan War. Hermes, messenger of the gods. As the god of trade, eloquence, wealth, luck, sleep, thieves, travel, and animal raising, Hermes possessed a wide range of abilities. He is also usually portrayed as mischievous, looking for ways to have fun and be entertained. In retaliation for stealing Apollo's holy herd of cattle when he was only a baby, he lost his lyre. As the god's messenger, Hermes performed several tasks, including killing the monster Argos to liberate Io, liberating Ares from imprisonment by giants, and persuading Calypso to release Odysseus and his crew from her grasp. It was also his responsibility to guide souls into the underworld. Demeter, goddess of the harvest. Demeter, known as the Good Goddess, oversaw farming, agriculture, and the fertility of the ground. Not surprisingly, because she oversaw food production, she was greatly revered in the ancient world. Demeter had one daughter, Persephone, who captivated Zeus's brother Hades. He eventually kidnapped the girl and took her to his gloomy underworld palace. Demeter, distraught, scoured the entire earth for her daughter and neglected her responsibilities. The following famine ravaged the world, killing so many people that Zeus eventually ordered Hades to return Persephone. However, Hades tricked her into eating pomegranate seeds from the underworld, binding her to the underworld for all time. It was agreed that Persephone would spend 4 months of every year with Hades. During these 4 months, Demeter is so devastated by Persephone's absence that nothing can grow, resulting in each year's winter. Dionysus, the god of wine and ecstasy. Dionysus, the god of wine, winemaking, merriment, theatre, and ceremonial madness, was a popular god among the Olympians and humans alike. Dionysus was the son of Zeus and Semele, a Thracian princess who Hera duped into begging to see Zeus in all his glory. Semele died from the shock, but Zeus preserved her unborn child by stitching him into his thigh. Some months later, Dionysus was born from that thigh and raised by the nymphs of Nysa. He was the only Olympian to be born of a mortal mother, which might explain why he spent so much time among mortal men, travelling and gifting them with wine. There are 2 remaining Greek gods who do not make the list of the 12, but are equally important. Hestia, goddess of the Hearth. Hestia was Zeus's final sister, however she is frequently left off the acknowledged pantheon of the 12 Olympians. Hestia was the gentlest of the goddesses, protecting the home and the hearth. According to legend, she was one of the original 12. When Dionysus was born, she graciously handed over her throne, claiming that she was happier sitting beside and carrying to the fire that warmed Olympus. Hades, king of the underworld. Hades, Zeus's second brother, is similarly not regarded as an Olympian because he did not reside in the celestial palace. Hades was the god of the dead, in charge of the underworld and the souls who entered there. He was unwelcome among the other gods or mankind, and is typically portrayed as a sour, harsh and unfeeling individual. Despite this, he caused less trouble than his brother Poseidon, who attempted a rebellion against Zeus on one occasion. Hades was extremely fond of his wife, Persephone. I hope you found this video enjoyable as well as educational. Make sure to check out our other videos on a range of historical matters. Thanks for watching.